My daughter turned 10 last week, and I just want to say happy birthday, Pumpkin. And I want to talk a little bit about her 529 college savings account. And I have been investing in her 529 since the day she was born in 2012. Building our generational wealth is on step 9 of our FIRE checklist, while we're saving and investing over 65% of our income. And investing in your kids' future is important for every parent out there. And I totally get it. Besides investing in their 529, it is extremely important for every parent out there to teach their children about financial education, probably starting around age 7 or 8. And I have been teaching my daughter about personal finances since she was 7 years old, so she's not gonna be afraid of money when she becomes an adult. And my goal as a parent is to do my very best to get her ready to be on her own when she becomes an adult. And she needs to be ready to face the real world when she's becoming self-sufficient, and it can be very challenging. And teaching your kids personal finances at an early age is also a part of building your generational wealth. And schools will teach kids what schools teach kids. What you as a parent teach your kids will matter a lot more as they grow up. And besides teaching them from right to wrong, teach them how to think critically and teach them how to make informed decisions. Schools don't really teach about the basics of budgeting, paying taxes, or investing for their retirement. It's cool that you're saving for kids' college tuition, but are you really teaching them how to properly spend or save money? Would your kids know how to handle your money if something happens to you? Would you hand your teenagers $100,000 without proper financial education? Probably not, right? Like millions of kids, my daughter loves playing Roblox, and she's good at playing Royal High or Adopt Me or whatever else she plays. What she's also good at is telling you what it means to own a Roblox stock, and she knows she has some shares in her Upma account. She can tell you when the company went public. She can tell you the basic definition of inflation and tell you she enjoys saving half of her allowance and spending the other half on Robux or Pushins. If you're brand new to my channel, my name is Sai and welcome. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about my investment strategy for her 529 account and how much it has grown over the last 10 years. Even if she ends up not using the 529 for her college, I could transfer the beneficiary to someone else like my grandchildren, my wife, or even myself if I want to. And if she chooses to get a master's degree or other professional certs, she could use the 529 to help pay for her tuition expenses. And if I decide to put her in a private high school, I could still use the 529 account to pay for her tuition. So the first thing I did was to calculate her estimated cost of college tuition. My daughter still has about 8 years until college, but the rule I'm gonna lay out for her is to go to an in-state college unless she receives scholarships for an out-of-state college. I'm not about paying $50,000 a year in tuition unless I can afford it. It would still be a waste of money, in my opinion. Now, how much you want to cover your child's tuition expenses is entirely up to you. You're not morally obligated to pay 100% of the cost. You need to have a conversation with your child or children, probably starting in freshman year in high school, about how much you're able to cover the expenses. Let's go with my daughter's college plan as an example. And I'm saving for her 2-year master's program. And let's say it would cost around $30,000 a year currently, and the rate of annual cost increase is 5%. If I contribute $100 a month with a 10% average rate of return, the fund would be short by about $6,000. And that's if the tuition expenses are $92,000 total when she's 22 years old. What I can't control is the stock market return, right? It could be 10%, 8%, or 7% until she's 22 years old. What I can control is the amount I contribute to this account. Let's assume the worst case scenario at a 7% annual return. Then I would need to contribute at least $200 a month to cover almost 95% of the tuition expenses. That shortfall can come from her part-time job or something else to cover the rest of her tuition expenses. And let me give you another example, and this is probably the most common one. Let's say your child was just born and you're saving for his or her 4-year in-state college. And with a 10% average annual return, you would need to save at least $200 a month for 17 years to cover 62% of the college expenses. If you have the budget to save at least $300 a month, then you would cover 99% of the estimated future cost. And this is entirely up to how much you have in your budget to save for your child's tuition. If you have multiple children, then you're gonna need to create multiple 529s to invest in their college. But who knows, your kids might get a full ride scholarship for a 4-year university, or the tuition won't be as high as we currently project. I always recommend that you prioritize your retirement first and then contribute what you can for your children's college tuition, because their college will last 4 years at the most, maybe more, and your retirement will last until the end of your time. You can use this tool for free, and I'll put Vanguard's link in the description below. You can also get our free financial independence resources by visiting firesidechat.com/contact. You can also check out the Fireside Chat shop if you're looking to start your own YouTube channel, and I have all of my equipment at firesidechat.com/shopping. You typically have 2 investment options when it comes to the 529, and please keep in mind that this is not any specific financial advice. It's just what I do for my 529 account. And you can either pick the age-based target portfolio or the self-directed investment. The age-based target portfolio is basically like the target-based retirement fund that will allocate stocks, bonds, and cash based on your kid's age. And you can even create multiple target portfolios if you're looking to create multiple goals, like sending your kids to a private high school, a 4-year university, and a graduate school. So if your child is going to a private high school or a 4-year university starting in 2040 and 2041, this target date fund has 95% stocks and 5% bonds, which is considered aggressive at the risk-reward scale, right? All of their target date funds are actively managed mutual funds with an expense ratio of 0.14%. But if you look at the portfolio composition, 57% of the portfolio is in the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund, and 37% of it is in the Vanguard Total International Stock Index Fund. Now, I've never been a fan of the target date funds because I don't have any control over the stock allocation or where the money goes. And if you look at the 2030, 2031 target date fund, which is when my daughter will go to college, this portfolio has about 50 to 50 stocks and bonds, and that is way too conservative for me, in my opinion. But if you're the type of person who just wants to invest and forget, then the target date funds might be worth looking into. For me, I would much prefer the individual 529 portfolios, and for Vanguard, there are 9 index funds. 7 of them are in equity and 2 of them are in fixed income. For the past 10 years, I have been investing in these 2 index funds, Vanguard 500 index portfolio and the growth index portfolio. I put 60% into the growth one and 40% into the 500 one. So over the course of 10 years, I've contributed a total of $12,000 or just $100 a month. By August 2022, the balance was around $22,000 with $10,000 in interest, or about 83% in total return so far. So for the last 10 years, it's performed an 8.3% average annual return. And so if this portfolio continues to perform 8% every year until my daughter goes to college, it would have roughly $55,000. If she waits to use it until she's getting her master's degree or something else at age 22, then this portfolio should have about $82,000. And what's nice about the 529 is that if my daughter ends up not using any of this money, I can change the beneficiary to someone else in my family tree. And I can also leave the account invested and just let it grow for 20, 30, 40, or 50 years. And going back to those 2 mutual funds that I mentioned earlier and I currently invest in, the Vanguard 500 index portfolio is basically the same as the S&P 500 index fund that tracks the 500 largest companies in the US. And for the last 10 years, it's performed a 13% average annual return. You can get more information under the ticker symbol VFIAX or VOO. The Vanguard Growth Index Fund portfolio tracks large US companies that tend to grow more quickly than the broad market. And for the last 10 years, it has outperformed the S&P 500 by a 15% average annual return. You can get more information under the ticker symbol VIGAX or VUG. By the way, if you need help with your personal finances like budget and savings, you can schedule a free one-on-one 20-minute financial coaching session by visiting firesidechat.com/coaching. Here are some frequently asked questions about the 529 college savings plan. And every state has different rules and benefits, so please make sure you contact your broker or do some additional research for your specific state. You can invest in any state's 529 plan regardless of which school your child attends. Can you contribute to your 529 with pre-tax dollars? No, you have to contribute with after-tax contributions from your bank account. And what happens if you use the 529 account for something else other than educational expenses? Well, you will have to pay a 10% federal penalty on the earnings that you take out, but whatever you contributed to the 529 is tax and penalty free. So for example, my 529 account has $12,000 in principal and $10,000 in interest. I can take out that $12,000 penalty free because I already contributed with my after-tax money. However, if I withdraw that $10,000 in interest, then I'm subject to federal income tax and an additional 10% penalty. Who can you change the beneficiary to if your child ends up not using it? You can change the beneficiary to an eligible family member of the original beneficiary, like another child of yours, stepchildren, your spouse, your siblings or step-siblings, your parents or step-parents, your nephews and nieces, your aunts and uncles, and even your in-laws. You can even withdraw the amount of the scholarship award your child receives from your 529 account without penalty, but you will have to pay the federal and state income taxes on the earnings. There are also no annual contribution limits for the 529. However, what you contribute to the 529 is considered gifts, and it's up to a certain amount every year that can be excluded from the annual gift tax. You can even do a lump sum contribution that can be evenly spread out over a 5-year period. But be sure to check with the IRS gift tax limitations and your state before you make any investment decisions. And if you want to know more about how to invest for your financial independence and early retirement, be sure to check out these 2 videos. So with that said, I appreciate you watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one.